Everybody, it's Shannon from Alphatrends.net. Today is Friday, the 7th of August, 2020. Hope you had a good week of trading. The markets were higher once again. Bonds lost a little bit of ground, as did the volatility index. Most notably, we saw the Russell 2000 outperform significantly, and that's something we discussed in last week's video. So, just as a reminder to anyone who's new listening to my videos or watching the videos, I am a swing trader. My time frame is intermediate term. I look at things like these types of trends on the daily time frame, but most importantly on a 30 or 15-minute time frame. And what we saw this week is we gapped higher, we held above the gap for the entire week, and we have a rising 5-day moving average. We're looking at a 30-minute time frame. That means in order to get a 5-day moving average, it's 65 periods because there's 390 minutes in each day. So that is the average price of the last 5 days for the S&P 500, and you have to see what is the only thing obvious here. We have a pattern which is higher highs and higher lows, and that is above a rising 5-day moving average. So the market is innocent until proven guilty. We close this gap. That doesn't mean anything. It's just a level that we gapped lower from back in March, but now we're back up through that level. It looks to me like we're going to head for new all-time highs in the S&P 500. What happens after that is anyone's guess. I certainly, if you're not involved in this market and you're looking to buy the breakout, look where it's come from. It's come from 220 to 330, so that's not a time to be a buyer. The Nasdaq also still has that pattern. I thought 2 weeks ago that we were going to spend more time in this range and start to see a more sideways correction through time, but instead we again broke higher on a gap on Monday, and we held on to those gains. This, probably 264 and a half, 265 is what I would consider the most important level for the Nasdaq. Most importantly, last week we spoke about the significance that the Russell 2000 had to be able to outperform, and it certainly did this week, and it gave us plenty of opportunity to get involved as well. So let's look at a 15-minute time frame there. You can see on Monday we started out with some strength right in here. These arrows are where I've been suggesting that Alphatrends subscribers raise their stops to. Right now I would suggest that on partial that the stop goes up underneath Thursday's low, and we're doing that again as a swing trade. So if you're long 148 and a half, 149, you want to start to protect those gains and let the market tell you when to get out. The semiconductors also continued higher this week. We still have a pattern above that rising 20-day. That's the blue 20-day moving average. It's higher highs and higher lows. If you listened to my video last week, I'd mentioned a number of stocks. One of them was Riot, R-I-O-T. That one, look at what happened to it this week. This is, it went from $2.60 up to $4.50. AAOI. We got involved in this one on Monday over in here, and we got stopped out at this point. We wanted to get stopped out too because the earnings report. So we sold it at the end of that day as it undercut this low. Undercut this low right here. Also, INSG, that was one we had gotten involved in and then exited before the earnings report. We filled the last bit of our position that we purchased over here. We bought here, got out of the last bit of it, sold a third here, got stopped out of a third here and the final third there, avoided that gap lower. And we did the same thing with shares of Beyond, which Beyond we got out of the final shares right here just before the earnings report. If you look at Beyond, it's been just fantastic in terms of honoring the volume weighted average price levels. We spoke about the volume weighted average price from the 2020 low as well as from the 2019 high, how they came in and held as support, and then the potential upside in front of earnings was to run up to this volume weighted average price. It ran slightly through it, but we sold out and avoided this big mess right here. DADA was another one. I'd mentioned that on Twitter about how it was holding the volume weighted average price from the low and we sold a third of it up here, and then the final third got stopped out right in that level. The point is there are still a lot of opportunities setting up, and if you know when to sell, that's a big portion of being able to be profitable and hanging on to your gains. Financials also starting to outperform. This is something we've been looking for. As we've noted, the rising 20 and 50-day moving average, that's that blue and green in there, as well as the volume weighted average price from this low and this high. We've been holding above those, and finally today this market broke beyond that band of resistance that we've seen holding. I was telling subscribers this week that if you want to be long in this area, I didn't get long the financials. Don't get, I don't trade all of these unless they make sense to me. But I didn't want to get involved until it showed momentum. I missed it today, but I was telling subscribers that if you're in this in the financials early somewhere in this area, that your stop would go underneath this level. Nobody gets every single trade that they talk about. That's not even the goal at Alphatrends. The goal is to find low risk, high probability trading situations each and every day. And I don't know if you saw, I kind of put on a mystery stock saying I'm going to save this for Alphatrends subscribers. It's CNSL. It's got a big short position, and we got involved in this one the other day. It's $7 and I think it was 38 cents or so. Anyways, that one is heading for probably that 10-ish level. If you haven't taken a look at alphatrends.net, please do so, and thanks for tuning in.